Get ready.
They say they need to ban the podcast equipment and take y'all mics away. And oftentimes when I listen, shit, I agree.
For real talk.
Hey, man, just because we know people don't mean that they know things. A lot of us was in the same classes with some of these folks. That don't mean they were passing these classes.
All the time.
It ain't the world leaving you behind, man. It's your line of thinking. You think the science stopped evolving because you stopped learning, and it don't work that way. I couldn't imagine voting for somebody who thinks identifying with me is identifying with a felon. That's crazy as hell. I'm Mr. Spann, and I'm approving these messages. This is the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann, and this is episode number 64 of the show. And yo, man, this is after Christmas and shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, we are in the thick. We are in the thick of the holiday season, man. So I hope everybody's Christmas was wonderful and full of family and full of love and full of food and full of gifts and full of like however it is you want to celebrate that day, man. I hope you had a wonderful time doing it. I hope you were surrounded by people you love and love to be around and everything else, man. Real talk, because I know I was. You know what I'm saying? So I would hope that happened for all of you guys as well, man. But yo, man, we're coming up on a new year pretty soon. I might get I might get one more episode in this year, man. I'm not sure. We're gonna figure something out. But of course, before we do that, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit us up at our hotline at area code 313-288-0485. There's area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. And if you're watching us here live on Facebook and or YouTube, you can go ahead and hit me up live while we're doing the show, right? So area code 313-288-0485. You can also hit me up on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, I am also on Blue Sky. So if you want to chop it up with your man Spann on Blue Sky, my name on there is Mr. Spann, no underscore there. Okay, MRSPANN.bsky.social. Okay, I'm gonna try to figure out a way to shorten that shit down, man. I'm gonna like they doing the verification via your if you got a web domain or something like that. And I got one, so I'm gonna probably like shorten that up. But yeah, man, right now it's MrSpann.bsky.social. So if you want to chop it up with me over there, you can very well do that. Also, man, go to our YouTube page, right? If you're not watching us on YouTube, subscribe to us on YouTube, man. You can get alerted when we get ready to do these shows live, man. Comment on the videos when we put those videos up, when we go live, comment on the live. And of course, that's one way for you to contribute to the show, man. So if you really go over there on YouTube, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and you'll always be updated as to when we gonna hit the mic. Same thing over on Facebook. If you are following the Mr. Spann page on Facebook, man, I always have that post coming up on the Mr. Spann Facebook fan page. So you can also subscribe there. And when I go live there, you will be alerted to the fact that we on the mic and we talking our shit tonight. You know what I'm saying? So you can go ahead and do that there, right? Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Spotify. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. And if you want to give us some bread, if you want to give us some money, you can go over to our store, man. We do have the Spann Report Network store over at TeePublic. I'll have the link in the show notes. You can go there. You can cop yourself some merch, man. Get yourself a hat. Get yourself a sweater. Get yourself a hoodie. Get yourself a T-shirt. Get yourself a mouse pad. Get yourself a coffee mug. We got a bunch of little stuff in there that you can purchase, and it helps us do the thing that we're doing here, man. Because this shit ain't free, man. This shit ain't free. So we appreciate everybody who contributes to us in that way, man. Real talk. But I don't really have a whole lot of random thoughts, but I do have a couple, right? So here's one. I'm gonna pull this video up so you guys can watch this here along with your man Spann. I have a thought about this right here, man. Like, let me go ahead and play this for you.
Wait!
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, that's that double bacon cheeseburger pork chop.
Oh, that's fire.
That's fire.
Good.
That motherfucker.
I appreciate it. Oh, she got a double bite. One more. She gonna take.
You said about to get back in there.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Hold
I
on.
appreciate the support, y'all.
So hold on. This nigga called this the double cheeseburger, double cheeseburger bacon pork chop. That's what he's calling this. This is 2 patties of meat covered in cheese and maybe like some sort of maybe a spicy mayo or something like that. But then he got bacon on there, and then instead of bread, this motherfucker got 2 slices. I mean, he got 2 pork chops for the bread, bro. And as I'm watching her eat this shit, all I can think of is just Mama, your arm. Like Big Mama, your arm. Cause all I'm looking at is like, man, goddamn, my arteries are clogging the fuck up just watching this shit. I'm gonna listen to this shit one more time. He's talking about this with such enthusiasm.
Let me see.
Wee!
Oh my God.
Bacon.
Oh yeah, that's that double bacon cheeseburger pork chop.
No, that's fire.
Look at that.
Suspect out here selling death, bro. This nigga out here selling Luthers. This nigga's out here selling the Luther. I saw this shit, was like, come on, man. We can't be out here like this in 2025, man. Come on, man. We gotta lead the big backed activities in 2024, bruh. Let's lead this sort of shit. Like, you know, there was a time where I would have been all about this. Like, I want to say like in my mid to late 20s, man, I'd have been all about this. Y'all remember the Double Down from KFC back in the day, man, where they had like, you know, the mashed potatoes and the corn and the gravy and it was some other shit I believe that was in that sandwich. But then instead of bread, they just had 2 pieces of chicken breast, deep fried chicken breast, and that was the bread, nigga. And they were talking about that shit was a sodium bomb. Like if you ate one of them shits, you had basically ate up about 3 days worth of sodium and shit in that one goddamn sandwich. And I'm looking at this sandwich and I'm like, oh my God, her heart is like, bitch, what are you doing to me? What are you doing? So yeah, man, that was my random thought. That was the only random thought I had this week, man. Real talk. Real talk, man. But yeah, we got that going on, man. Now, I did have some listener feedback though. Some of this had to do with some of the stuff we were talking about last week. And I got some comments on YouTube about some of the comments I made last week about Travis Hunter, about Bow Wow. And we're going to follow up on some of that stuff tonight. So we're going to do that. But let me pull up some of this listener feedback that we got so I can respond to these people here on the show, right? So let me do this here. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so I hate the way YouTube is doing this now. Okay. Let me go to my channel, maybe. All right, so okay, so here we go. Comments. Wait. Close. I want to see all the published ones. Why are they doing it this way? I'm sorry, you guys. I thought this would be a hell of a lot easier. Okay. Let's see. Let's do comments. Published. Apply. What the fuck? Am I going to have to read this shit off of my phone? Because I know I had them. Let's see. Let's go back. Let me go on my phone. I'm going to read these comments off of my phone. Because apparently, you don't want me to do it on the computer. So, let's do this. All right. So these comments I'm getting here now, these are about my comments about Stephen A. Smith from last week. We were talking about Stephen A. Smith, and we're going to follow up with Stephen A. Smith tonight. But one of these comments says, you know what? I'm a regular viewer of your channel. Oh, that's somebody trying to sell me some shit. Let's see. Everybody, I trust no Democrat. They are not worth trusting. Trump is a separate topic. To which I'm just like, okay. They didn't really provide a whole lot of depth of thought there. So I mean, I guess it's not like Republicans are really out here screaming motherfucking trustworthiness to anybody who has any goddamn sense, right? So we got that going on. Someone commented on here, said, "What has the Democratic Party done for you?" right? What has the Democratic Party done for me? And I will say, for those of you who are interested in hearing what I have to say, one thing that I do know, like the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and the Fair Housing Act of 1968 all had something to do with trying to level the playing field for black people in America. And what I do know is that Republicans are the ones who are trying to attack all of that shit. They are already trying to, I know Republicans are trying, they've already rolled back some of our voting rights when it comes to Shelby v. Holder with the conservative Supreme Court rolling back, certain provisions within the Voting Rights Act of 1960, was that 1965, I believe it was. And as soon as that went into effect, Republican legislatures across the country, especially in the South, started trying to, try to curtail the amount of freedom and the access to the ballot that people have throughout the South and throughout the country. And so I know that's for a fact. I know that affirmative action is being attacked in this nation, and affirmative action was a mechanism with which to kind of rectify some of the wrongs that had been done for previous years. And now white people, a lot of white folks, a lot of white conservatives, a lot of Republicans are trying to act as though that is a form of reverse discrimination, as if the 400-year head start that they had was not enough, right? So you got that going on. I do know that this current Republican Party is seeking to criminalize, people of color, and they've been doing that for a long time. So from time immemorial, right? Conservatives haven't actually had black people in mind when it comes to conserving our rights, right? They're very active in being progressive about taking away rights from people who are not necessarily white, right? And they will use people who are not white in order to expedite that process. But to ask me what Democrats have done for me, I'm well aware of what Democrats have done for me. Now, the question that I would have for you is, what have Republicans done for you? What is it that Republicans are touting right now that you feel like is important for you? So yeah, hit me back. Hit me back with something substantive other than a question you thought I didn't have a fucking answer to. How about that? So we got that going on. We had another comment here, says, "You are not very smart." Well, that's cute. That's cute. But you know what? This is the nature of YouTube comments oftentimes. This is why, if you like really listen to me, if you really fuck with me, if you're watching the show and you're watching the show via YouTube, I would appreciate if you guys go ahead and comment over on the YouTube channel, man, because I know oftentimes, man, especially when we're talking about some of these topics, they're going to be, YouTube is notorious for the trolls. YouTube is notorious for the people who just want to be there to argue. They're not there to have a discussion. They just want to talk shit and get their shit off. And so you got that going on, man. Now, the other part that people had comments on was I was talking about Bow Wow last week and him coming out and talking about Travis Hunter and some of the things that were going on with him, with his relationship with his fiance and all of the people who had stuff to say about it. One person wrote in to say, well, is the situation about Bow Wow or about the main topic at hand? I don't care who he listened to, as long as he understands what he's getting into. As long as he understands what he's getting into, no need to disrespect Bow Wow. And so, okay, so the question that I would have for this person is, and this person goes by the name Jay, I'm gonna just say Jay. The question that I would have for you is, you think I disrespected Bow Wow, but for whatever reason you don't think, and I'm asking, for whatever reason you don't think that Bow Wow disrespected Travis Hunter by coming at him publicly about the nature of his relationship and the integrity of the relationship and everything else, based on shit that Bow Wow has seen on social media. You don't think that's disrespectful for all of these folks to feel like they have to have something to say about Travis Hunter? So yeah, man, like I would ask you to kind of examine that. Why does Bow Wow feel like he had to say anything about Travis Hunter and his relationship? As a matter of fact, we're going to get into that right now. We're going to talk about this right now. And that was those are some of the comments that I got over the course of the last show, right? But we're going to get into some of this right now, because I believe a lot of y'all out here, and I know I talked a bit about this last week, but I think that this bears a little bit more examination, right? And I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. But Bow Wow has been, he came out and he spoke publicly about what was going on with Travis Hunter, his girlfriend or his fiance, and whether or not he should still be with her, whether or not he should still go through with the engagement and everything else, right? Now, the interesting thing about that, wait a minute, what the hell done happened? I have a lot of I got a lot of tabs going on here, so I'm trying to keep track of everything. But Bow Wow went out of his way to talk publicly to this young man about his relationship and what he should do with said relationship and everything else. And he fell in line with a lot of people out here on social media with the idea that they needed to give this young man some advice on his relationship, right? The thing was, though, Bow Wow came out talking to this young man after some shit he saw on social media, and it turns out that the shit that he saw wasn't real. So we get this, there's video. So let me go ahead and pull this video up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. We get this from TMZ. So let me see what the hell TMZ is saying about what the hell Bow Wow did over the course of the last week. Let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Let me go ahead and enlarge that. Let's see what TMZ is saying about Bow Wow, or Bow Weezy had to say about Travis Hunter.
It's coming from your boy Bow Weezy, right? I never met you, don't know you, know nothing. But I will say this, because I've been watching from afar. I'm not the type of to jump in people's business, but I was once young, about to make a lot of money, and I know how this shit go. So I need you to hear me out. Number one, I don't want you feeling as though everybody jumping down your back or cats is hating. That's that young mentality. I want you to look at this like care about you.
Okay.
And so especially in our
basically playing the entire video that we watched last week. Okay. So yeah, we don't need all that because we saw that last week, right? But here's what's interesting though. So I'm gonna read from the article. It said that Bow Wow learned a very valuable lesson in social media on Thursday because the rapper fell for a fake Instagram comment involving Travis Hunter's fiance, prompted him to give a passionate plea to the Heisman Trophy winner. First of all, for those who don't live on the internet, there's a popular parody X account, the NBA Centel, which pretends to give up-to-date information on all things hoop, and usually is pretty funny stuff masked as actual news. So he got fooled by a fucking spoof account. He got fooled by a spoof account. Says several notable figures have fallen victim to the hijinks, and Shad Moss was the latest to get duped after the infamous profile shared an edited snap of Hunter's partner, Liana, put in a money emoji under Timberwolves superstar Anthony Edwards' picture, a reference to the gold digger claims he faced and denied in recent months. Moss didn't know the whole post was a farce, though, and he was so fired up after thinking it was real, he shared a public message to the future NFL prospect begging him to wake up. While Moss's heart was in the right place, he was immediately called out for getting centelled, and folks had their laughs at the "let me hold you" artist's expense. As for Hunter, he defended his partner left and right, ripping haters who have a problem with their relationship and telling them to worry about their own lives. Now, one of the things that I was thinking about, and I thought about this after I got off the mic talking about this the last time, was, and I said this on the, last week. I said, if Bow Wow was really concerned about Travis Hunter and his relationship and things of that nature, and he really wanted to step in and give the young guy some advice, the way to do it would have been to reach out to him on a private level. Didn't have to get out here, get on social media, do a whole, this Bow Weezy and all this other shit. And it seemed like a clout chasey ass move, right? And I said, he could have reached out to a Deion Sanders and this, that, and the other, right? And one of the things I thought about after I got off the mic was Bow Wow was telling this young man that, he's about to be young. He's about to come into all this money. Trust me, if anybody knows, I do. You know who else knows about that? His motherfucking coach and mentor, Deion Sanders. And as much as I've been a critic of Deion Sanders, one thing I will give this man credit for is you ain't seen Deion Sanders come out here and say shit to nobody. You ain't seen Deion Sanders out here talking to social media. You ain't seen Deion Sanders out here talking to the media. You ain't seen Deion Sanders saying shit about this young man in that relationship. And he's the closest to him, right? Now, if Deion Sanders, who is the closest to him, the one who's his mentor, the one who he looks up to, you think that Deion Sanders wouldn't have a conversation with that young man if he thought it was a problem? You don't think that Deion Sanders would have said shit if he thought that that young man's relationship with this young lady was a problem? But somehow, some way, all these bird ass niggas on the internet feel like they gotta like, hey man, we doing it because we trying to help this young brother. He don't know y'all. He don't know y'all. Would you listen to like? I need to, because it's weird. It's fucking weird. You got brothers 30, 40, 50 years old coming down on this 20-year-old dude about his relationship, and y'all swear up and down y'all trying to help. But I'm gonna ask y'all this one legitimate question. I think it's a very legitimate question. Would you listen to a stranger about what's going on in your life at all? Would you do that? Would you listen to you if you knew that this nigga that's talking to me, I don't know? I doubt very seriously that y'all would. And so the thing that I think is interesting though, and I'm gonna pull this up because I want y'all to see something. I want y'all to see something because I feel as though this is a very fucking, this is a very, it's to a point now the algorithm has a hold of it. And now it's a part of it's a part of the social media landscape, so to speak. But I want y'all to see something. I want y'all to see something as we go on YouTube and we look at the videos about Travis Hunter. First video, Travis Hunter realizes fiance's brother convinced her to run game on him. Now she is in his Adidas ad. Travis Hunter cannot be saved. Travis Hunter, oh, there's one good thing about Travis Hunter, his Heisman highlights. Travis Hunter fiance refuses to share his bed, makes him sleep downstairs. Proof he repulses her. Leanna Lene's ex-boyfriend drops bomb on Travis Hunter. I called Dion myself. Boosie out here talking on the shit. Boosie speaks on Travis Hunter marrying fiance. Charleston White drops this bomb on Travis Hunter. This is a hoe. Charleston White blasts Celeste for speaking on Travis Hunter marrying fiance Leanna Lene. Travis Hunter's life is in danger. Get in there now. Right? All these videos, all these old ass niggas, this Travis Hunter situation is getting worse. Like, y'all don't feel weird? You niggas don't feel weird, bruh? Because this feels weird to me. And what makes it weird is that, like, yo, man, Travis Hunter is a Heisman Trophy winner. He's projected to be a number one first round pick in the NFL. Got Colorado to a bowl game. They were ass last year. They planning a bowl game this year. And all you niggas are talking about, all you dudes is talking about is him and his girlfriend, bruh. This shit don't seem weird to y'all? Because it feels weird to me. And y'all swear y'all helping. All y'all are really doing, and this is what I said last week, y'all don't give a fuck about him. This is content. This is content for most of y'all. Travis Hunter humiliates his fiance over cheating and breaking his heart. You betrayed me, bitch. Look at these thumbnails, though. This is what's even more funny. Look at the thumbnails. You betrayed me, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's wild, man. It's wild. So, yeah, we got a couple comments here. Let me see. My man David Williams is in the chat room. What's happening, brother? David says help comes in private, criticism is public. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then he also says that somebody's trying to stay relevant. I believe he might be talking about Bow Wow. Just trying to stay relevant. But I think it's weird, though, that, like, with all the good shit going on in his life, that y'all are choosing to try to focus on this one negative aspect of his life and claiming that y'all are doing it and helping him. And I don't see that to be the case, man. I think all of you niggas are actually just out here. Look at this. Y'all out here with Officer Tatum. Now, if you all here Officer Tatum, I know y'all on some bullshit. Fucking this leak made Travis Hunter delete social media. No, nigga, he tired. Man, listen, a lot of y'all, if y'all was talking shit about the persons, like the people that I love in my life, if I was in front of y'all, I would beat the fuck out of y'all. If not, listen. Y'all act like y'all cloaking it and I'm trying to help. Nigga, you're not trying to help. A lot of this is just about y'all getting views. And it's whack, bro. It's fucking whack. Y'all are some fucking weirdos. Every last one of y'all some fucking weirdos, man. Straight up. So yeah, man, Bow Wow got exposed for like reacting to some shit that wasn't even real, and now the prevailing shit that you see on social media about Travis Hunter is about his girl, not about his accomplishments, not about what he's about to do, not about, you know, everything that he went through and everything else. No, it's about y'all disapproving of the young lady that he chooses to share his life with, which ain't none of y'all fucking business. Fucking weirdos, man. Every last one of you niggas who are out here on this shit here, y'all are some fucking weirdos, bro. Y'all need to get y'all fucking head examined, man. Real talk. But yeah, man. Like, it was like one of those things like, man, hold up. Y'all talking about, you know, Bow Wow talking about, I'm about to run into some, you know, I could teach you the game and shit. Like, he don't have Deion Sanders as a fucking mentor who went through that shit a hell of a lot more than you did, nigga. Like, come on, bro. He was fucking prime time. Nigga was playing baseball. He was having baseball and fucking football groupies thrown in his way. You think he don't know? Come on, bruh. Come on, man. Like, seriously, man, this shit was whack, man. This shit is whack. You niggas are whack, bro. So yeah, we got that going on. I was like, man, what's wrong with these niggas, man? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy, for real. So we got that going on, man. Now, another story that we gotta double back on. We got to double back on this here, man. Stephen A. Smith think we are some goddamn fools. Like, we, like...
Nigga, did you know that I can see you? Nigga, you right there. It's on your nose.
Nigga, we can see you, Stephen A. I think like oftentimes niggas get out here, they start saying some crazy shit, forgetting they getting recorded when they saying this shit. They don't probably forgot if they was saying some shit. But I don't think Stephen A. Smith forgot he was saying some shit. I think Stephen A. Smith is trying to manipulate the fact that he said some shit and he's trying to like clean that shit up and thinking we wouldn't remember and we wouldn't notice. Okay. So last week we were talking about Stephen A. Smith, and the reason why we were talking about Stephen A. Smith because I believe Stephen A. Smith is like he's leaning towards being red pilled. I feel like Stephen A. Smith has been red pilled. He's being red pilled right in front of us. He's leaning more and more towards conservative talking points, whether it be about Joe Biden pardoning his son. He's repeating the same shit about some of the same talking points that right wing pundits would repeat. When it comes towards Kamala Harris losing and, expressing the thoughts that like, men wouldn't take too kindly to being told what to do by women. And that therefore that's what part of the reason why Kamala Harris lost. He's been saying a whole lot of little slick shit. Right. So I believe Stephen A. Smith is being red pilled. He's red pilling right in front of us. Right. But what I don't take too like, and here's the thing, right? If you're going to be on that side, be on that side. Yeah. I don't fuck with you like that on that. But I could respect it if you stood on it. I could respect it if you stood on it. I can't respect it when you trying to play in my motherfucking face and act like I didn't hear you say what the fuck you said. Like I didn't see you say what the fuck you said. And that's what Stephen A. Smith's got going on right now, right? So let me go ahead and pull this up because Stephen A. Smith, I really think this nigga thinks we are fucking dumb, right? So let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me, man. Because he took some time out on the Stephen A. Smith show to let us know that he went on this interview that we all saw, but somehow his words was misconstrued. That we all took him, we all took what he said wrong. You know what I'm saying? This is what he's trying to play. This is how he's trying to play it. So I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Hold on a second while I do this here. I think here we go. Yeah, here we go. We're gonna see what the hell Stephen A. Smith got to say. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. Let's see what this nigga talking about, y'all.
Some political talk, specifically my conversation on Fox News this weekend with the one and only Mark Levin. They call him the Great One, conservative radio host throughout the country. Plus,
wait, they call him what? I ain't never heard them to call that nigga nothing other than his name. They call him what? I guess, nigga.
You can catch him on Patriot Radio, on Sirius XM, Channel 125. He's been a phenomenal host there for years. Nevertheless, I appeared on his show, Life, Liberty, and Levin, which airs on Fox News.
This feels like when he like talking about an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how when Stephen A. talking about an athlete, he about to criticize him a little bit. But before he do that, he want to talk, he want to give them all the praise in the world to try to, he try to soften the blow of the shit he about to say. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like happening right now. Before Stephen A. Smith's trying to say some slick shit, he always try to buttress that with, he's a phenomenal athlete, MVP 4 times, went to the NBA Finals 6 times, like yada, 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 yada. But he on some bullshit, right? That's what it feels like he's setting up right now. Real talk.
On Saturday nights and Sunday nights. And while I was there, I gave my thoughts on the 2024 election and expressed some regret about what has transpired with the Democrats and Vice President Kamala Harris. And I've said this on many, many occasions. I don't like what I'm seeing from the Democratic Party. I said it on Life, Liberty, and Levin to Mark Levin himself. I've said it to this audience on various occasions. I'm saying it again now. Nobody's backing up from it.
You sure?
Nevertheless, I have to tell you that, and I don't blame Mark Levin for this, but did you see the headline on Fox News? Did you see it? Did you see it? In case you didn't see it.
Hold on. Okay. So here's the trick bag. Here's the trick bag. Stephen A. Smith is trying to say, did y'all see the headline? As if the headline may have possibly given folks a false impression on what the actual video was about. And we know we live in an era where the headline can be misleading, right? Oftentimes, especially with the short attention spans of a lot of folk, they don't read the articles. Sometimes they don't even watch the videos. So they see the headline and then they share the videos. They share the article, having never read anything that was going on in there, just off of the strength of the headline. So what Stephen A. Smith is asserting right now is that Fox News, who does have a real, a reputation for being a bit shady, you know what I'm saying? They did have to pay $787 million to Dominion voting systems because they was out here lying about them changing votes from Donald Trump to Joe Biden, right? So Fox News credibility is a little shot with people who are about the integrity of the game, right? However, and curse this motherfucker for making me side with Fox News of all fucking places. Curse this nigga, man. He full of shit. Because the actual headline was really truthful this time. They actually told the goddamn truth. But he's gonna show this. Hold on a second.
Put it up there for us, folks. Let them see it right there.
Okay, for those of you who are going to be listening to this and you're not watching the video, it says Stephen A. Smith, this is the headline that Fox News put on the video. It says Stephen A. Smith regrets backing VP Harris, open to vote in GOP, not interested in the fear-mongering. Smith also addresses whether he would, in theory, vote for President-elect Donald Trump. Okay? Here's the thing. That actually happened in this video. And the reason why we know this is because we watched this video just last week. We critiqued this entire shit last week. But this is what he's saying, that he's setting this up as if he was misquoted or his comments were being misconstrued by the headline. Okay, I'm gonna let this play some more.
Look at that headline right there. Stephen A. Smith regrets backing Vice President Harris, open to voting GOP. Not interested in the fear-mongering. Before I go to the actual clip of what I literally said, so I can show you all myself, let me state for the record, I throw no fault in the direction of Mark Levin for the headlines. As a reporter, as a commentator and pundit throughout the years, there have been many, many times where I have said something and having no responsibility for the headlines whatsoever. The headlines didn't completely accurately portray what I had said. So if I've gone through that, I'm certainly not going to blame Mark Levin.
So that basically, again, like I said, he's blaming the headline for how people took what he said, despite the fact that some of us actually watched it and understand that the headline was accurate. But this is what he's doing, right? He's setting this up as if his words are being misconstrued.
Nor would I ever accuse him of misrepresenting me. Just like I've been friends with Sean Hannity for over 20 years, that also applies to Mark Levin, who I've also known now pretty much 20 plus years. So he is a friend. He is somebody that I communicate with often. No, we do not agree on a lot of our politics, just as is the case for Sean Hannity. But I respect those guys, and I've known them for years, and they've always watched my back, always. And I always appreciate that, and I'm always going to do the same for them. So it's not about that.
Okay, he really glazing right now. We get it, bro.
It is important that you all know exactly what I said because headlines like that turn to go viral. So, without further ado, this is just a small clip of Mark Levin asking me the question that he asked, and I want you to listen to my answer. Here it is.
Stephen A. Smith, so could you see yourself seeing what you see now? And obviously Donald Trump can't run for president again, but if he could, under the current circumstances, could you see yourself voting for him?
Quite possibly. I'm not going to sit up there and dismiss that anymore. I think we're beyond that. He would have to prove a lot, Mark. And I'm not talking about policy now for a second. Allow me to say this. What concerned me about Donald Trump and the reason I voted against him and voted for Kamala Harris was because I felt that he would be divisive, that he would create chaos because he demands such a level of loyalty and fealty to him. And that would take priority over governing our nation. That was my concern. And so I'm looking for both sides to work across the aisle from one another. Having said that, when you see some of the things that he said, if he follows through on some of the things that he has said, it's not just about eradicating inflation, improving the economy, obviously controlling our borders. These are all things that I care about, make no mistake about that. And I certainly would support him in that regard. But it can't be just about fealty to him and loyalty to him. It has to be about getting the job done on behalf of what's in the best interest of the American people, as opposed to yourself, and not engaging in the kind of juvenile tendencies, tweeting all the time and going after people who are really much irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. You do things like that and you show that you're the adult in the room. Yeah. I don't think anybody could dismiss Donald Trump at this particular moment in time, not just because of him, but because of what we've seen the Democrats do. That is what I said.
That is what I said. I'm gonna let him finish a little. I'm gonna play this a little bit more. But this nigga think we stupid, bruh. This nigga think we stupid.
Anywhere in that headline, did you hear me say, I regret voting for Kamala Harris? You did not hear me say that. But I understand how it's a fine line, because I do have my trepidations and feelings of disgust when it comes to the Democratic Party, how they handled things leading up to the election, how they handled the year prior to the election with Joe Biden refusing to step away and going back on his word to be a transitional president. OK, I don't like the fact that, they got $1.5 billion and, next thing you know, we're looking for where the money went. I don't like.
Wait. $1.5 billion. What the fuck is he even talking about right now? What the fuck is he even talking about right now? See, this is the other part about this shit. Like, he's throwing shit out here that don't. What the fuck are you talking about? They got 1.5. Because, if we're talking about people receiving monies, Jared Kushner got $2 billion from the Saudis, and we still don't know what the fuck that money was for. On their way out, on the Trump administration's way out the door, the last time the Saudi government gave Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, married to his daughter, Ivanka, gave him $2 billion for what? We don't know. But here Stephen A is talking about they got $1.5 billion for what? Wait. Where is this 1.4? What is this $1.5 billion from? What is that about? Having said that, though, Stephen A acted as though that's all he said. That's what I said. But he think we stupid because we were just talking about this shit the last time I was on this mic. We were just talking about this shit. That ain't all he said. So what we gonna do is, as he tries to act as though he didn't say all the shit that headline said that he said, let's go back and let's look and see what the fuck this nigga continued to say after he cut that clip off. Because that's exactly what the hell Stephen A. Smith just did. He cut the clip short when he said the rest of this shit. All right, let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me, because yeah, I got it queued up. Okay, I got this queued up. But this is what this nigga said after that part that he cut short. Okay, let me maximize this so you guys can see. This is the same. He got the same suit on. All right. Same suit. So this ain't no other shit. We got the same video from last week. All right. This is what the fuck he continued to say after he cut that video short.
particular moment in time, not just because of him, but because of what we've seen the Democrats do. We're not falling for it any longer. The American people aren't falling for it any longer. I voted Democrat, and I got to tell you something right now. I don't like the fact that I did.
So he just tried to say that nowhere in there does it say, well, I regret my vote for Kamala Harris. He just told you, I voted for the Democrats and I regret that I did. I voted for the Democrats and I regret that I did. Now he just tried to gaslight you and say, see, that wasn't what I was saying. They, the headline got it all misconstrued. They got it all fucked up, man. That ain't what I was saying. See, this is what I said. But you also said this, nigga. You also said this.
I don't like what I'm saying. I don't want to hear about, oh, we're about law. We're about a law. Nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law. But then you go out and you pardon your son and you try to blame everybody else for it. I don't want to hear about defund the police. I don't want to hear about, what there should be open borders. I don't want to hear this stuff. And I don't think most of the American people want to hear that. We're thinking about the state of affairs that's in. We're not about America only, but being about America and prioritizing what's going on in this nation with the desolate and the disenfranchised and everybody else in between, and looking out for the best interest of what it is for America. That is not a crime for an American politician or commander-in-chief or a senator or a congressional figure to have that mentality. I want them to have that mentality. So I think about things along those lines. And I'm no longer interested in, nor do I believe any of us should be interested in listening to a bunch of fear-mongering to tell us who we shouldn't vote for. Why don't you?
Didn't he just tell y'all that the headline was a bit misleading? That he just told you, one, he doesn't like that he voted for the Democrats, but also that the Democrats are fear-mongering. So let's go back. Let's go back to what that headline said, because Stephen A is telling us, hey man, the headline was a bit misconstrued. The headline got y'all out here, it goes viral, but that ain't what I said. Nigga, you just said it. You just fucking said it. So let's go back. Let's go back to show exactly what the headline said. Hold on. Let me pull this up, because come on, bro. Come on, bro. This is what you got. This is what the headline said.
Open to.
That's what the headline said. Regrets backing VP Harris, open to voting GOP. He said that. He said that. Not interested in the fear mongering. He said that too. This nigga think y'all stupid, man. And this is the part. This is where I think, this is where I get, this is where like that media savvy and being able to like understand when motherfuckers are trying to mislead you. Like, I saw you say this, and now you're saying you did not say this, right? Now, a lot of y'all would say, well, Spann, Joe Biden said that he wouldn't, pardon his son. And you cool with that when he pardoned his son. And to that, I will tell you the same thing that I said when it happened. I would have respected Joe Biden less if he hadn't. And there's nothing wrong with changing your mind. I don't think that Joe Biden was lying about whether or not he would pardon his son or not. I don't think that was his intention at all to do it. I think he had I think Joe Biden fully embraced the thought and idea that Kamala Harris is going to win that election, and there will be no need for him to pardon his son. But when you know that Kamala Harris did not win that election, and that the people who are going to be in the administration going forward have nothing but disdain and animus towards you and your family, and they will use your son to get back at you. Like, yeah, I would have respected him a hell of a lot less if he didn't pardon his son, because even the prosecution of Hunter Biden was like they didn't get him for the shit that they had like the House oversight committee and shit. They didn't get Hunter Biden on the shit that they was talking about with Burisma and Ukraine and all the other shit. They got this man on weapons charges because he was a drug addict. to pin anything on it because they didn't have the real shit. And then we find out later that the person with whom like gave them the impetus to even create an investigation was somebody who was lying. And now that person is going to jail for lying. Right? So like, yeah, man, Stephen A, listen, dude, I get it. You getting a lot of bread, man. And like, yo, happy for you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never gonna be a hater about somebody getting to their bread. However, I'm gonna need you to stop trying to play in our motherfucking face and act like we didn't see what the fuck we saw. I'm gonna need you to stop trying to act like people are fucking stupid, bruh. I know a lot of people out here are stupid though. So I get why you thought you could get away with this shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Because there's a bunch of stupid motherfuckers out here. However, we ain't stupid over here. We not stupid over here. And as much as, you know, Stephen A. Smith can be enjoyable to watch as a sports commentator and everything else, when he starts venturing off into some of these other topics, man, like I said, it makes it a hell of a lot less enjoyable to watch Stephen A. Smith because it's like, but I know he be on some bullshit, bruh. I know he be on some bullshit. And also, have y'all noticed that a lot of conservatives who had a whole lot to say about people being woke and people bringing their politics to the sports and everything else, have you noticed them saying anything at all about Stephen A. Smith's foray into politics? You ain't hearing a whole lot. And the only reason why you're not hearing a whole lot is because the only reason that they're not upset with Stephen A. Smith is because they agree with Stephen A. Smith on a lot of this shit. Bomani Jones, Michael Smith, Jamil Hill, like those folks who were actually, you know, talking up and speaking up on behalf of black folks in some degree, all of them is gone. But the ones who aren't speaking up in that way, they have a place there now. So yeah, it hasn't been lost on me, that part. But yeah, man, I'm gonna need Stephen A. Smith to stop acting as though the rest of us are fucking stupid. Some of us are paying attention, man, in much stronger ways than y'all think. And yeah, we got that going on, man. Real talk. Now, another thing that we got going on here. Did y'all know that an HBCU had been invited to participate in Donald Trump's inaugural parade? Here's the rub about it though. Mississippi Valley State University is they had been invited to participate in the inaugural parade for President-elect Donald Trump. And let's just say this. They don't have the monies in order to go, right? So they're trying to raise money up to $350,000 so that their band can go and participate in this inaugural parade. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a sad situation. So we get this story here. This comes from HBCUBuzz.com. It says the Mean Green Marching Machine of Mississippi Valley State University has been invited to participate in the 60th presidential inaugural parade for President Donald Trump on January 20th, 2025. Trump will be inaugurated for his second term as the 47th president of the United States. In an announcement on social media, the university lauded the opportunity as a once-in-a-lifetime experience for its students. This is not just a moment for pride for our university, but for the entire state of Mississippi, said Dr. Gerald Briggs, president of the institution. He emphasized that the performance would allow the band to showcase its cultural legacy and invest in future community leaders. The 250-member band is actively fundraising to cover the estimated $350,000 cost of travel, accommodations, meals, and equipment transport for the trip. The band has set up a GoFundMe page highlighting their extensive performance history at prestigious events, including NBA games and parades such as the Rose Bowl and the New Orleans Mardi Gras. The Mean Green Marching Machine is continuing a proud legacy. The band made history as the first HBCU band to march in the Tournament of Roses Parade in 1965. In addition, they performed at President Nixon's inauguration in 1968. With their upcoming appearance, Mississippi Valley State joins Talladega College's Great Tornado Marching Band, which performed at Trump's first inauguration in 2017, raising an impressive $667,000 through fundraising efforts. So they keep going back to Mississippi, and I'm you know, like I'm just yeah, it's what is it about Mississippi and why do they keep going to the black schools in Mississippi? The Mississippi Valley State needs the community support as the band prepares for the event, celebrating its heritage and showcasing its students on a national stage. In the meantime, the band is making improvements to the band hall to facilitate practice. Now, they're asking for the public to come up with $350,000 for them to, in order for them to like go to this inaugural or whatever, right? And you know what? For instance, Talladega, right? I don't think that many people, as much as racist and shit as Donald Trump was back in 2015, 2016 during his run, I think a lot of them didn't realize how bad shit was going to get under Donald Trump the first time, right? It's weird how soon we forget how bad shit was when this motherfucker was president the first time. It's going to be very interesting to see how people relate to what's going on when he becomes president again, right? However, that being said, many people didn't know what they were getting into back in 2015, 2016. We saw what the fuck happened after that, though. And so I'm wondering whether or not they will even get to their fundraising goal. How many people are going to, make this happen for them to come to the black community asking for $350,000 for them to be able to go? Now, who's to say that there won't be one benefactor who says, you know what, fuck it, I got $350,000 to throw away. I can go ahead and get them that $350,000. But how much of that will come from the community at large? How many of y'all is the coalition of black, is the Coon Coalition? Does the Coon Coalition have $350,000 for Mississippi Valley State to go to this damn inaugural for Donald Trump? So that's going to be the poll question tonight. Do you think that Mississippi Valley State University will reach their $350,000 goal to go to the to go to this Trump inaugural? And also, do you think that they even should be trying to go to this inaugural, right? Especially considering, the circumstances around who Trump is, what Trump advocates for, and everything else. Now I get it, like the kids, they just, hey, listen, I'm in the band, I want to go. I'm not really versed in the politics. I get it for the kids and to some degree, but for the adults in charge who understands what, what the overall message to the community looks like. Are you doing these kids a disservice by putting them out there in that way? Are you doing a disservice by, accepting an invitation that isn't popular with the vast majority of the black community, right? So that's the poll question that we're going to have here. Do you think that the university, the Mississippi Valley State University, is going to reach their $350,000 goal to help them go to the Trump inaugural? All I know is this, man, y'all got a lot of nuts, man, asking the black community to give y'all $350,000 to go fuck with Trump, man. Y'all really do, man.
I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Like, y'all straight up. Y'all, that takes balls, man. Y'all got balls of steel, nigga, to ask the black community help y'all with $350,000 to go celebrate Donald Trump, man. Y'all got a lot of motherfucking balls, man, I swear. But we got that going on, man. That's what's going on in the world. Another story that we got going on here, man. So listen, we alluded to this last week when we were talking about, Matt Gaetz, right? So the reason why we were talking about Matt Gaetz, what the fuck was we talking about Matt Gaetz for? Damn it, I forget why we were talking about Matt Gaetz. But anyway, we were talking about Matt Gaetz. I know we were talking about Matt Gaetz. He came up because Matt Gaetz, who was Donald Trump's initial nominee for Attorney General of the United States, right? So this dude was he was a former congressman from Florida. He's a MAGA celebrity and shit, man. The MAGA folks love this piece of shit ass dude, man. He got the last Speaker of the House kicked out of his spot. You know what I'm saying? Because they had a personal animosity and whatnot. The last Speaker of the House came forward and told everybody, yeah, the reason why Matt Gaetz don't like me is because I wouldn't stop an ethics committee investigation into whether or not he was having sex with 17-year-olds, right? So the ethics committee came out with a report. This is after he had been, he found out he wasn't going to have the support to be attorney general and everything else. He tried to keep this report from coming out by not only resigning from the House of Representatives, right? He resigned from the House of Representatives, but then he resigned from, he took his name out of consideration for the Attorney General spot because he didn't have the support of the Senate. However, part of the reason why he thought he was just going to withdraw from all this shit is because he thought that because he wasn't in the House of Representatives no more, and he wasn't trying to be the Attorney General no more, that they would keep all this shit under wraps. Well, goddamn it, he found out the hard way that like, nah. Nigga! They came out with this shit, nigga. They came out with the shit. And so this is what we get. So this dude, and I think it's very important that we frame this the correct way. Okay? Republicans have been touting themselves as the party of family values, right? They are the party of family values. They want your kids to go to church. They don't want your daughter, if she becomes pregnant, to have an abortion. They don't want you to be able to get any type of welfare. You should be able to go to work and take care of your children yourself. And we want to protect the kids. More than anything, we want to protect the kids. We don't want the kids to read anything that might make them feel bad. We don't want the kids to read anything that might make them think about something else other than the shit that we want them to know. We want to make sure we protect the kids from sexual predators. We want to make sure we protect these kids from sexual deviance of any kind, right? Ironically enough, the person that they initially were about to support to be their top cop was guilty of having sex with kids. So we get this story here. This comes out of PBS. Let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. And PBS has a story of what exactly came out of that House Ethics Committee report about Matt Gaetz, whom Donald Trump nominated to be Attorney General of the fucking United States. So here we go. Let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Let's see what PBS is talking about when it comes to Matt Gaetz.
Welcome to the News Hour. A highly anticipated House Ethics Committee report details a litany of allegations against the former Republican representative from Florida, Matt Gaetz. Prosecutors previously declined to charge him, but Gaetz's former peers found evidence that he paid several young women for sex, including an underage girl, and partook in numerous drug-fueled sex parties. Lisa Desjardins spent...
Hold on for a second. Let me remind this real quick. Just a second. But is it me or does Matt Gaetz really look like...
Gaetz's former peers found evidence...
Does this motherfucker not look like a live-action Beavis? Does he not look like live action Beavis? Like if there was a cartoon that they made it into a live action movie, does this motherfucker not look like a live action Beavis from Beavis and Butthead? Is it me? Is it just me? Because he looks like he could play the part. Like they could just, like they don't even have to like put makeup on this nigga. He looks the fucking part. Like when they were thinking about Beavis, they had this motherfucker in their sights. He looks like Beavis. I can't be the only one that sees it.
That he paid several young women for sex, including an underage girl, and partook in numerous drug-fueled sex parties. Lisa Desjardins spent the day combing through this report about the one-time Trump nominee for Attorney General, and she joins us now. Lisa, this is a very explicit report, and we should just alert our viewers that this is what we're going to talk about in the next few minutes is somewhat graphic. In this report, what really stood out to you?
Right. Well, this contains very serious allegations and conclusions, very direct conclusions, according to the committee, that Gaetz violated law in a criminal way. So let's look at some of the main conclusions here. First of all, they found that over the course of nearly 4 years, the committee found that Gaetz paid tens of thousands of dollars to women, likely, they write, in connection with or for sex and drugs. They found that he had sex with a 17-year-old girl, and according to the committee, that fits Florida's definition, where this activity was alleged to happen, of statutory rape. Now, I also want to point out that the committee concluded that there is not evidence that he violated sex trafficking laws. In this report, there is direct testimony from witnesses, including the women involved, but also a very large number of text messages, either from Gaetz or naming him in conversations with women.
Y'all know the text messages what got Kwame Kilpatrick taken down. They got the text messages. I don't know why people like. I don't get it, man. I swear I don't get it. Y'all be out here bad, bro. Y'all be out here bad. The text messages be telling every motherfucking thing, man. Matt Gaetz out here caught up in the text messages. Got to be more careful.
Now, it's important to say the women in these conversations have said that this activity was consensual. This is not an allegation of assault. This instead is about paying for sex. And the allegation of such statutory rape, the committee also goes out of its way to say there's no evidence that Gaetz knew that this girl was 17. However, they point out, according to them, under Florida law, that ignorance of a minor's age is not something that exonerates you. So overall, this
He should have asked R. Kelly about that. Remember when they first got to R. Kelly back down there in Florida, they got R. Kelly on the fact that like he had video tapes and shit about we know this nigga like taping himself, but that like they had video evidence of him being with underage girls in Florida. When they first got to R. Kelly, man, it was because of the videotapes that he had down in Florida, and that like kind of spurred along that that whole trial that he went through in Chicago, where he was ultimately cleared. But then R. Kelly thought that when he got cleared of that shit, that he was immune to anything happening to him after that. So he started acting with impunity after that shit. And now R. Kelly is out here rotting in somebody's jail, out here singing show tunes or whatever the fuck it is he doing in somebody's jail. Now, Matt Gaetz has decided that, like, Matt Gaetz thought that he was going to be immune from this ever coming out because now he's a private citizen. He thought like, well, I'm not no longer a congressman anymore. And so the House Ethics Committee doesn't have any jurisdiction over me. That don't mean they can't release the report, nigga. And even what was wild is he made not only enemies on the Democratic side, this motherfucker made enemies on the Republican side too. Y'all remember a young congressman? He only lasted one fucking term, but he, Madison Cawthorn, I believe he was like a congressman from North Carolina, South Carolina, one of the Carolinas, right? And I remember some time ago, Madison Cawthorn came out and he was like, yeah, man, these motherfuckers be inviting me to all sorts of sex parties filled with drugs and all this other shit. And and they got Madison Cawthorn the fuck up out of there. Right? They got him the fuck up out of there. Madison Cawthorn was when he started talking the shit in public, and they were like, "Hey man, we got to shut this young blood up, man. We got to get him the fuck up out of here." And they got him the fuck up out of Congress. You ain't seen Madison Cawthorn nowhere else since, right? Then a little while ago, Marjorie Taylor Greene started coming out saying, yeah, if y'all gonna do this, then I'm gonna just come out and tell everybody about the slush fund we got for y'all like to shut people up and everything else about some of the what was the shit that she said? Like, shit. What's the word that I'm looking for here? Like, there's a slush fund for them to to shut down people who have like sexual allegations against them, or better yet, a hush fund to keep people quiet so that they don't talk about the sex and drugs and shit like that some of these Congress people are into, right? There's a congressional slush fund to keep people quiet. She ain't came out with the shit, so it might be some bullshit. However, this is the reason why Matt Gaetz is not your Attorney General of the United States. However, I think it calls into question the level of vetting that Donald Trump is doing, but also, can we really be surprised that anybody that Donald Trump nominates for anything has this sort of shit on them when we know that Donald Trump has been like already adjudicated a sexual assaulter by a court of law in New York? Like, come on, man.
I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Like, we know this. We know he owes E. Jean Carroll over $80 million for what he did to her in a dressing room in a department store in New York, right? We know that Donald Trump is a convicted felon. So is it no fucking wonder why Donald Trump surrounds himself with other possible criminals? I mean, like, these people have elected a criminal motherfucking president. That also goes to show you that they don't really give a fuck about family values. So anytime somebody comes up to you and they talking about, well, I couldn't vote for the Democrats because, they were not about family values. Like, nigga, are you for real right now? Get the fuck out of my face, nigga. Did you look at the guy you voted for? basically it's
Oh, yeah. There's powerful niggardry at work here.
and niggatry ain't relegated to just black people. Ignorance is the thing that happens across all spectrums, and there's a whole lot of white niggas out here too. All right, so we got that going on, man. But yeah, man. Matt Gaetz out here having sex with the babies, man. He out here baby bumping motherfucking. Y'all was about to make him the top cop of the United States. But Republicans are the party of family values. Fuck out of here. Another story that we got here, man. And this one here, this is more so like on a fuck around and find out sort of vein. And the reason why it is because this could have been avoided. This could have been avoided for a lot of these folks, right? So now they're expressing a little bit of trepidation. But people from the abandoned Harris and the Uncommitted Movement are they're reflecting, and now they're a bit unsure of their position as to what happened during the election, and some of them are expressing some regret, some of them are expressing some tepid optimism. But I think this is one of those fuck around and find out moments for a lot of folk. This is just one of them. Okay. And so we get this story here. This comes out of NBC News. It says that, wait, is there a video? Let me make sure, because if there's video, then damn it, we're going to play the video. Okay. So this video is not for what we were talking about here, but we're going to read the article, man. It says that Vice President Kamala Harris had just 107 days as a presidential candidate to change the minds of hundreds of thousands of uncommitted Democratic primary voters nationwide, many of whom voted in protest against President Joe Biden and his administration's handling of Israel's war in the Gaza Strip. But leaders of the Uncommitted National Movement and the abandoned Harris campaign say they felt Harris didn't do enough to distance herself from Biden or outline how she'd handled the war. And now they're closely watching President-elect Donald Trump's early moves on the Middle East and specifically on Gaza to see what comes next. Now, again, me personally, I feel as though they were unfairly critical of Kamala Harris, considering Kamala Harris's position. Knowing that Kamala Harris is the vice president of the United States and not the president of the United States, and that in her current capacity, even while she was running for president of the United States, she couldn't really undercut the top of the Democratic ticket. She was running as president of the United States, but she was still the vice president of the sitting president of the United States. And so I feel as though they didn't give her the grace to understand that like her position and where she was couldn't stray that far in the current situation, because he was still president of the United States and she didn't want to undercut him, especially if there are negotiations going on. You can't be having a president of the United States negotiating or trying to negotiate a ceasefire, and then you have a vice president of the United States going out here and says she disagrees with everything you got going on. And now they like, well, shit, if this is what it's going to be, you're not going to be president too long. This is going to be the next president. We need to be worried about what the fuck she talking about. So there was to me, I feel like, yo, man, y'all didn't give her, like the people in this particular movement, y'all didn't give her the grace nor the courtesy to say, listen, I understand your position. And I understand why you can't be out here like that. But I also understand, especially considering if you are losing people, like why you feel like I don't have to extend you that grace to you. I get it on both sides. However, I think that like to a certain degree, some of y'all may have cut y'all noses off to spite your face. And we're all going to have to deal with the ramifications and the consequences behind that. Right? It said, but leaders of the and now they're closely watching President-elect Donald Trump. Okay, I read that part. It said there's been many ways in which Harris shows the path. There's been many ways in which Harris shows the path of Liz Cheney and the donor class on a range of issues, and abandoning working families in places like Dearborn, who make up the people Democrats claim to be fighting for. said Uncommitted National Movement co-founder Layla El-Abad, a Palestinian-American activist and the sister of Representative Rashida Tlaib, Democrat from Michigan. And I think at the same time, Trump came in and fed a community that was grieving and in despair with lies and false promises. So here's the thing. If you know that Donald Trump is coming into your community to lie to you, right? Do you embrace Donald Trump just because he came, despite the fact that he's lying? Because that's what it sounds like to the rest of us. Y'all, like, he came to see us. Oh, shit. Despite the fact that he was feeding y'all some bullshit. Make sense to the rest of us. Okay? Especially if you want us to have, especially if you want the rest of the coalition to have sympathy for the plight. Make sense to the rest of us that y'all were willing to, like, yo, throw everything out the window, and we supposed to throw everything else out the window because he came to see you, despite the fact that when he came to see you, he was feeding you some bullshit. Make sense to the rest of us, right? The other part that I think is interesting is that she says, and abandoning working families, or better yet, the whole thing of choose the path to Liv Cheney. I think what she was attempting to do, what Kamala Harris was attempting to do, was expand the amount of people to let them know that, like, yo, I know you regularly identify as Republican. And some of y'all say that y'all are about family values and everything else. Well, if you say that, here's one of y'all old champions. Here's one of the people that y'all really used to look up to. As trust me, I am no fan of the motherfucking Cheneys. But here's somebody that y'all used to look up to, and they over here because this dude y'all championing right now, he don't give a fuck about y'all the way y'all think he does. She was trying to expand the coalition. Y'all took that as she is abandoning you. And, like, for those of us who, try to be politically astute, we understand the game. Yeah, let's expand the base. And, I might not necessarily agree with this motherfucker on all this shit. Like, technically, I probably don't agree with this motherfucker on most shit. But if they coming over here, that means shit over there is really fucking bad. To the point that they coming over here fucking with us. It's bad over there. To the point that they coming over here. People we don't fuck with. They coming over like, hey, man, like, shit. I know we done had some beef in the past, man, like, straight up. And I know we don't agree on everything, man, for real. But, like, yo, man, listen. This nigga over here tripping. I can't be over there, bruh. You know how many treaties, you know how many motherfucking peace agreements have been made from people who don't give a fuck, who don't agree on much, but they're like, hey, man, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's what the Cheneys represented coming over to support Kamala Harris. The enemies of my enemy is my friend. That's what that was. But they thinking that Kamala Harris abandoned them. But they're enamored by the idea that Donald Trump came to them and blew smoke up their ass. Right? So it says Trump ultimately ended up carrying Dearborn, a majority Arab American city in Michigan, by more than 6 percentage points, a massive swing from Biden's nearly 40-point win there in 2020. But most Dearborn voters also voted against Trump, who got about 43% support in a deeply split field. They also voted for, what's her name? Jill Stein. Who, like, has anybody seen Jill Stein lately? Have y'all seen that lady? She done, like, straight up gave y'all the motherfucking Batman smoke bomb and got the fuck up out of there. Y'all won't see her again. Probably until 2028. Because that's what she does. But she sure as hell got a lot of votes out of there in Dearborn. Right? El-Abad decided not to vote at the top of the ticket this year and focused instead on down ballot races. We provided Democrats with a pathway for victory and a way to unite the party, and they spent 10 months ignoring us and berating us. When Elabad and other leaders from the Uncommitted National Movement briefly met with Harris in person last summer, she told the candidate that she wanted to be able to vote for her and asked Harris to talk with activists about how to change her policy toward the Middle East. She said Harris seemed receptive in that moment, but another official meeting never panned out. She never came to Dearborn. She never came to speak to families. They were firsthand impacted by our U.S. policy decisions that ultimately killed their family members. About a month before the election, Harris met with the Muslim and Arab American communities in Flint, Michigan, ahead of a rally there. Also in October, her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, held a virtual meeting with the Muslim organizing group called Engage Action. A former Harris campaign official who was granted anonymity to speak candidly about integral campaign deliberations said that after the October 7, 2023, the vice president spoke with Palestinian Americans who were in Gaza when the war started and who had to be evacuated, as well as with doctors who had returned from Gaza. Harris herself described speaking with those who lost loved ones in Gaza doing remarks in December of 2023. Alabama says she feels crushed by the reality of 4 years of Trump administration policies towards Israel. So let me get this straight. You were a member of an organization who actively spoke out against Kamala Harris, who openly talked about abandoning the Democratic Party in this election, and you're feeling devastated at the fact that Donald Trump won the motherfucking election? Mega! Make that shit make sense, man. Make that shit make fucking sense. This is a fuck around and find out. This is fuck around and find out season, man. A lot of people are about to find out that they let some bullshit happen. And this is why, like, I understand why a lot of black women are saying, hey, they got it. They got it. I'm cool. They gonna see. Because we could have prevented all of this shit. We could have. 90%, like, what was it? 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris. 80% of black men voted for Kamala Harris. I still think that number is too low. I ain't patting niggas on the back for 80%, nigga. We should have been a hell of a lot higher than 80%, considering what the fuck is on the line. I'm not patting it. I'm not touting that 80%. Fuck that. It's too low. But now you got trepidation. Now you worried. You like come the fuck on. You were one of the proponents of abandoning Harris and we uncommitted and all this other shit. You were one of the proponents of this shit. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit from you now, bruh. Nobody's trying to hear that shit from y'all. Like straight up, they are not. People are not trying to hear that shit. Not now. They are not trying to hear that. When Elabad and other leaders of the Uncommitted National Movement briefly met Harris she told the candidate that she won. Oh, okay, I read that part. It says, I'm absolutely devastated. Oh, okay, here we go. Briar Misner, a Christian who grew up Christian, converted to Judaism, and later to Islam, worked as a campaign manager for the Abandoned Harris campaign in Pittsburgh. So, I mean, shit, this nigga can't commit to shit. Like, think about it. He grew up Christian, converted to Judaism, and then later to Islam. And like he all over the place. But he worked as a campaign manager for the Abandoned Harris campaign in Pittsburgh. Unlike Elabad, he ultimately voted for fucking Donald Trump. Make that shit make sense. He says he expressed frustration about a lack of access to members of Harris's team, which he said felt demeaning. We tried negotiations. We tried to reach out to no avail. You know, they never reached out, he said, adding later. We went through multiple avenues to try to be heard, and instead we were ridiculed. Misner said that it was a difficult decision to vote for Trump. He said the point of the Abandoned Harris campaign was to punish Democrats for supporting Israel during its war in Gaza, which the campaigners view as a genocide, and he hopes the Trump campaign will be more willing to negotiate with group leaders. Bruh.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. There's no wonder you get D's and everything.
Yes, that sounds like an excellent idea.
Bruh, come on, man. Come on, man. There was nothing in the Trump campaign that told you that that's what they was going to do. They was just going to negotiate on behalf of the Palestinians. When Donald Trump's, I'm sorry. When Donald Trump has been his entire thing has been pro-Israel. When he decided to move the United States Capitol into Jerusalem, when like when his own fucking son-in-law, the one who got the $2 billion from the Saudis, by the way, is talking about Gaza as like, like waterfront property. They don't give a fuck about y'all, man. They never gave a fuck about y'all. And so the idea that you were going to punish the Democrats, or better yet, you were going to punish Kamala Harris for some decisions that were out of her fucking control. That's what stings for a lot of people. You are punishing Kamala Harris for some shit that was out of her control. And you think that the rest of us are supposed to be like in tune and in line with that. Nah, bruh. Nah. So, yeah, man, it's very interesting. It's very fucking interesting listening to how they rationalized their voting for Donald Trump or their abandoning Harris, despite the fact that Harris was in a very precarious position. They didn't give this lady they didn't give her the freedom. They didn't give her the grace to actually be out there to, at some point, exert her fucking position. They didn't understand how the United States government works, where as vice president, she cannot undercut the president for which he serves. And so because of that misunderstanding, and because of their penchant to be not even pandered, I wouldn't even call that shit pandering. Because of their penchant to be lied to and accepting those lies by Donald Trump, because he has no intentions on fulfilling any of this shit. Donald Trump needed your votes. That's it. It's very transactional for him. He needed those votes. And once he got those votes, cool, we are done with this. Fuck them people. And he's going to go on ahead and do what the fuck it is he does against people of color, against Muslims, period. Did y'all forget the Muslim ban of motherfucking 2016? Did y'all forget that shit? He don't give a fuck about y'all, bruh. Make that shit make sense. Make that shit make sense, man. So, yeah, that happened. That happened. We got a comment here. This comes from Courtney. Courtney says that they have a very different definition of what family values are. I believe she's talking about Republicans. They really do. They really do. They have a very different definition. I don't know what that definition is, but it damn sure ain't the definition that they used to sell it to us, right? Y'all remember Republicans impeached Bill Clinton for getting head on the job and lying about the shit. Y'all remember that shit? For those of us who are old enough. For those of us who are older, that just sound like, oh man, hey. They impeached Bill Clinton for lying about an affair. Meanwhile, they are electing presidents who have been in court and adjudicated sexual assaulters, and they owe the victim over $80 million. Suddenly, shit, that's water under the bridge, man. That's water under the bridge, man. Why y'all bringing up old shit? You know what I'm saying? Why y'all bringing up old shit? But this is like it's wild being old enough to watch the change, right? To watch the change. I was 16 years old when that shit was going on with with Bill Clinton, and to be 44 years old now, and to watch how much that they don't really care about that shit. To see now that they don't really care about that shit. To be like in the 30 years since that happened, to be able to witness this shit in the change, be like, whoo, whew, these motherfuckers really been on some bullshit for a long time. But yeah, man, that's the way of the world right now, man. For real, that's the way of the world. So we got that going on. Now, another thing that we got going on, because there's some more people that are about to fuck around and find out. And that just hell happens to be New York area firefighters, right? So the New York firefighters, man, the FDNY, I got that spelled, you know, because I know they do some different shit in New York. The FDNY, Fire Department of New York, they pissed right now. And the reason why they are pissed right now is because they had some funding that was gutted, you know. There was some healthcare funding that was gutted in this House appropriations of the court of this last House appropriation shit. So Donald Trump has a couple people in his corner right now. He has people like Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, and they are part of this made up ass department that Donald Trump has created called the Department of Government Efficiency and shit, Doge, if you will. And you know, here's the thing, there was a bipartisan agreement for a budget, for the United States budget, and you know, the Doge motherfuckers are like, nah, man, fuck that shit. Nah, we gotta cut this shit out. We gotta cut. Nah, we can't be passing nothing. Here's the thing. Here's what they were trying to do. They were on some shit like, yo, the United States government is supposed to stop and cease operating until Donald Trump becomes the next president. This is what they were on. And in so doing, they were saying that this particular bill that the United States Congress is was trying to pass to fund the government, they were like, no. Y'all shouldn't be passing no legislation until Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, right? As a matter of fact, instead, what we want y'all to do, don't pass no bills, but if y'all do pass a bill and it comes to, like, when it comes to funding, we want y'all to raise the debt limit right now so that we don't do this when Donald Trump becomes president. We can blame that on Joe Biden. They actually came out and said that shit publicly, right? They said that shit publicly. But in an 11th hour effort to avert a government shutdown, because of course, you know, the Republicans are the ones who pulled out of the deal to fund the government. Republicans are going to take the blame on this shit. But in an 11th hour deal to fund the government, what they ended up doing was they ended up gutting the World Trade Center Health Fund. They gutted that. They cut that shit out of the goddamn funding for the United States. And so now, firefighters from New York are pissed. They are pissed. Okay? But here's the rub. They are pissed, but the people that they overwhelmingly supported are the reason why their funding was gutted. Make that make sense.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. There's no wonder you get D's and everything.
All right, so we get the story here. This comes out of CBSnews.com. It says the first responders who have 9/11 related illnesses have suffered another blow. Funding for the World Trade Center Health Program past 2027 was excluded from the federal budget on Friday as Congress scrambled to avert a government shutdown. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer released a statement saying, in part, Republicans must stand up for those heroes and pass 9/11 health funding once and for all when the new Congress begins. Get back to the Capitol and do your job, New York Governor Katie Hochul added in a post on Twitter. Members of the New York City's bravest gathered Sunday outside Ground Zero alongside a Christmas tree decorated with the faces of 343 firefighters who died on September 11th in 2001, a reminder to Congress to promise to never forget. It's unthinkable that 23 years later that we would be here on a 17-degree day begging for funding to recognize people who did the work, said Jim Brosey, president of the Uniformed Fire Officers Association. Never forgetting involves passing the bills that will continue to fund the health care for sick and dying first responders, said Andrew Ansbro, president of the Uniformed Firefighters Association of Greater New York. Fire union officials said that they will continue to push, for a permanent bill. To see that Congress could cut this out of all the spending in D.C. is not only shameful, but insanely disappointing, Brosi said. Brosi says 130,000 people with 9/11 related illnesses rely on the program for financial aid. That includes his late father, Lieutenant Joe Brosi, who died of cancer after being exposed to toxins at Ground Zero. To take that away from somebody, to say that you won't find it at, to take that away from somebody, to say that you won't find it after, you know what you exposed us to after, you know what the job did is disingenuous failure of government, Brosi's son said. Fire union officials said that more than 35,000 first responders have been diagnosed with cancer since 9/11, and without funding their health will remain in jeopardy. On average, we are losing 3 New York City firefighters every month, Ansborough said. We know you can't make America great again if you leave behind those who are sick. Y'all know what's y'all know what's wild though? Y'all know what's really wild? Is that overwhelmingly those firefighters supported Donald Trump for president.
Supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't.
Y'all supported this. Y'all fucking around and finding out I don't feel sorry for these people. I do not. I'm sorry. I do not feel sorry for people who voted for this shit and are like now pissed off that this is what the fuck they supported. When I don't feel sorry for these people. And the reason why I know that they supported this shit. Y'all remember Donald Trump was found guilty in New York of falsifying real estate documents as well. Letitia James got a conviction in that case. This was her reception to what was it? I believe there was some officers being elevated to being officers in FDNY. This was her reception. And this is how firefighters treated this sister when she was like at this ceremony where they were being elevated at a church. This was their reception. Check this out. Let me pull this up so you guys can watch right on with your man Spann. Check this out, y'all.
Oh, come on. We're in a house of God.
Yeah, booing.
First, simmer down. Commissioner Kavanaugh and Chief Hodgins for that record.
You hear what they're saying, right? These firefighters out here screaming out Trump's name as she's speaking, right? That's what they're chanting. Trump, 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 Trump. Trump is out here and his cronies are out here cutting y'all fucking funding. But this is how y'all tried to treat someone who tried to hold Trump responsible for the shit that he was doing to the state of New York. This is what y'all were doing. Listen to this again.
Kavanaugh and Chief Hodgins for that recognition.
That right there, of course, the New York Attorney General Letitia James getting shouted down by New York City firefighters. They were reacting to the fine of over $450 million imposed on Donald Trump in his civil fraud trial. All right, you take any issue with that?
Come on, man. So y'all are out here shouting down people who are holding this fuck ass dude accountable, and then he gets in. Y'all vote for him. The people who are under his thumb takes funding away from you. Now y'all out here looking like stupid. Y'all looking stupid out here right now, fam. Y'all looking stupid out here, right? Y'all, this is fuck around and find out season for a lot of Trump supporters, man. I'm lying. I do take some pleasure in y'all finding out that, you know, they don't like y'all as much as they don't like everybody else. I do take I take a little bit of pleasure in it. I ain't gonna lie. Straight up. Because some of y'all was stupid in the motherfucker. We tried to tell y'all. People tried to tell y'all. Y'all didn't want to fucking listen. So now y'all got to find out the hard way. Unfortunately for the rest of us, we got to sit around here and find out too, because y'all was on some bullshit. But for those of y'all who voted for this shit and y'all gonna find out that he don't fuck with y'all, oh man, I ain't gonna lie, man. It's glorious to watch y'all find out like I was a stupid motherfucker. Especially when people tried to tell y'all and y'all didn't want to listen. So, yeah, man, got that going on. Man. They firefighters mad at Donald Trump and his this is what's wild. This nigga ain't even president yet. This nigga ain't even president yet. And this is what we got going on. This is what we got going on. Real talk. But this isn't it, though. This isn't it. We got the MAGA civil war is upon us, man. It is upon us. Oh, man. Oh, man. When I say, oh, man. Hate. And I know some of y'all talking about a civil war amongst MAGA, and you just think about, like, it's happening. It's happening right now. They are at war with each other. Oh, nigga, it's kind of glorious, and I kind of feel like, man, just let them hoes fight. 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 Because they going at it with each other now. And it's glorious. And the reason why it's glorious is because for those of us who voted against this bullshit, we saw it coming. And y'all acted as though we didn't know what the fuck we was talking about. Right? We didn't know what the fuck we was talking about. Oh, man. Y'all act like we was the dumbo. No, it's wild. It's kind of wild, right? So check this out, right? We gonna get this story here. This comes out of Fox 59. I forget exactly which local Fox affiliate this is from. Where is Fox 59? Let's see let me see. Oh, this is from Indianapolis. Okay. So this is the Fox 59. This is Fox Indianapolis affiliate, right? And so we get this from them, and we read the headline. We read the story. This comes from them. It says, an online spat between factions of Donald Trump supporters over immigration and the tech industry has thrown internal divisions in his political movement into public display, previewing the fissures and contradictory views his coalition could bring to the White House. The rift laid bare the tensions between the newest flank of Trump's movement, wealthy members of the tech world, including billionaire Elon Musk and fellow entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, and their call for more highly skilled, I'm sorry, y'all. And their call for more highly skilled workers in their industry and people in Trump's Make America Great Again base who championed his hardline immigration policies. The debate touched off this week when Laura Loomer, a right-wing provocateur with a history, you hear that? A history of racist and conspiratorial comments, criticized Trump's selection of Shriram Krishnan as an advisor on artificial intelligence policy in his upcoming administration. Krishnan favors the ability to bring more skilled immigrants into the United States. Loomer declared that the stance to not be not America First policy and said that the tech executives who have aligned themselves with Trump were doing so to enrich themselves. You don't fucking say. You don't fucking say. Like,
supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't.
Don't feel sorry for none of these motherfuckers. Said much of the debate played out on social media network X, which Musk D owns. Okay. Now here's the thing, right? Here's what I find real fucking funny. Let me do this here. I'm gonna pull up something I posted on Facebook earlier today. Let's see. I'm gonna show y'all something. Let me do this here. I'm gonna show y'all something I posted earlier today because it's pertinent to what we're talking about right now. Okay, so all right, here it is. I'm gonna pull this video up or pull this picture up. Okay, and so let me show you guys this. Okay. All right, here we go. So this is the post of the guy who got the job that Trump appointed him to for AI policy and everything, right? He says that I'm deeply questioning my decision to support the Republican Party after witnessing the persistent and dehumanizing attacks directed at me and my community by individuals who, despite hiding behind a veneer of respectability, openly harbor and amplify racist ideologies. I've tried to hold on to the belief that these voices represent a vocal minority, not the broader values of the party. But time and again, I am disheartened as accounts with massive followings, many of them wielding significant influence, parrot unhinged conspiracy theories and perpetuate overtly racist tropes without consequence. This is the comment of the guy who Donald Trump was going to appoint to his AI, to advise him on AI policy and everything else, right? The thing that I would say to this guy is, so you were cool with it being meted out against everybody else? Like that much was cool with you, right?
I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
That point was you didn't see him talking about Haitians in what was that? Shit. What was that? That it was Ohio town or something like that. They were talking about they were eating cats and the dogs and the shit. You know what I'm saying? You didn't see all those mass deportation now signs at Trump rallies and stuff like that. When Donald Trump and his supporters were talking about, they're bringing criminals and they're bringing rapists and they're bringing drugs and all this, you thought that they were talking about all the rest of them immigrants, that they wasn't talking about your ass, right? You thought they were talking about the other brown people that was immigrants, not you, because you were one of the good ones, not you. Not realizing that they didn't want your ass here either. So the loud part was they want the brown people from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, anywhere from South and Central America. They wanted those people to not find themselves here. The unsaid part was they didn't want you coming from India either. As a matter of fact, the unsaid part really is they don't want the immigrants coming here from non-European nations. That is the unsaid part. Many of us already knew that. The black people especially knew this already. And unfortunately for you, you thought you were a model minority and that they didn't mean that for you as well. You just fucked around and found out that, like, yo, man, they don't fuck with you either. I mean, shit, even Ann Coulter came out and said, hey, she told Vivek Ramaswamy to his face, yeah, you were talking that good shit, but I wouldn't vote for you because you're Indian. She said that to his face. And so now y'all think that y'all gonna talk this shit to these people? Y'all gonna talk to the white people the way white people talk to black people and think that the white people are gonna be cool with that? Oh shit. But here's where it gets funnier though. I'm gonna continue to read this article. It says Loomer declared that the stance to be America First policy and said that the tech executives who have aligned themselves with Trump were doing so to enrich themselves. Of course, we know that to be true already. Much of the debate played out on social media network X, which Musk owns. Loomer's comments sparked a back and forth with venture capitalist and former PayPal executive David Sacks, whom Trump has tapped to be the White House AI and crypto czar. Musk and Ramaswamy, whom Trump has tasked with finding ways to cut the federal government, weighed in defending the tech industry need to bring in foreign workers. Right now, here's what's funny about this. Elon Musk is an immigrant. Right? Vivek Ramaswamy, his parents are immigrants. Vivek Ramaswamy is a first-generation American. His parents are immigrants. But they align themselves with a coalition of people who are nativists and don't want immigrants in the nation at all, especially if they are not white. Right? It bloomed into a larger debate with more figures from the hard right weighing in about the need to hire U.S. workers, whether values in American culture can produce the best engineers, free speech on the internet, the newfound influence tech figures have in Trump's world, and what his political movement stands for. Trump has not yet weighed in on the rift because he don't know how the fuck to play it. He don't know how to play it. Right now, Donald Trump owes a debt of gratitude to Elon Musk for helping to fund his campaign in the later stages. So he can't piss off the money. Can't piss off the money. But also, how do you explain that I can't piss off the money to the base who doesn't want anybody who doesn't look like them to become the United States citizens and come over here to work? When you have told these people that you are trying to protect their jobs, right? Despite that some of these jobs some of these motherfuckers don't even qualify for. Right? Bubba can't be a software engineer if he ain't had the training. But Bubba want that job. Right? Bubba want that job. He ain't got nan training. But hey, goddamn it, I swear to goddamn, we don't need those third world motherfuckers over here, okay? I can be a goddamn software engineer if you give me the goddamn training. But they don't even want y'all to get the college education. They're trying to cut that fucking funding out right now. They are trying to take public education out of the motherfucking budget and siphon that shit off to private institutions right now. And a lot of y'all voted for that shit. This is what you voted for. They never had any intentions on doing anything for none of them people. This is what they voted for. It says that Musk, the world's richest man who has grown remarkably close to the president-elect, was a central figure in the debate, not only for his stature in Trump's movement, but his stance on the tech industry's hiring of foreign workers. Here's the other thing that I think is very interesting, is that Elon Musk is now, at least this is what the right-wing people are saying now about him, is that Elon Musk is throttling their reach. Laura Loomer, who's very close to Donald Trump, says that she has been pretty much shadow banned on Twitter, which Elon Musk has made a very welcoming platform now to Trump supporters in the right wing. That she's had her check mark taken away. So, and her post can't be as long. Her reach can't be as wide. And so, like, she feels as though Elon Musk has shadow banned her. Right? It's very interesting to see. Like, y'all complain about Elon Musk curtailing free speech when Elon Musk called himself being a champion in his free speech, when Elon Musk only gives a fuck about people agreeing with him. And y'all are actually repeating a lot of the same fucking complaints that a lot of people on the left had about Elon Musk. Now it's being, used against you. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are out here telling y'all Americans don't have the culture to foster successful engineers. They are out here telling you, Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are out here talking to the white folks who voted for Donald Trump in the same way that white folks who don't vote for Donald Trump, the same way that the white folks who vote for Donald Trump, this is the same way they talk to black people, okay? The fact that the people who are like part of Donald Trump's inner circle are talking to the white folks the same way that the white folks are the black folks, y'all ain't handling this shit well at all. And it is fucking glorious, man. It is fucking glorious. Straight up, man. Straight up. But yeah, there is a civil war right now happening. A race war, if you will, happening amongst those of the MAGA right. And I'm here for it, man. I mean, shit, like, they ain't even came into power yet and they already beefing. Can y'all imagine what the next 4 years of this shit gonna be like? I mean, real talk. Can y'all imagine? It's gonna be a shit show. But unfortunately for the rest of us, we gonna have to be around for the shit show too. So that's the sad part about this entire thing. But it is what it is, man. Hopefully we are hopefully some of us are up for what's coming up next and are able to fight back against the bullshit. I know a lot of people are tired. I know a lot of people are exhausted. But unfortunately, the shit doesn't stop. The shit doesn't stop. And so if you want a better America, you got to fight for it. Sometimes you're going to be hit with some setbacks, but you got to fight for it. Sometimes we are going to lose some shit and we might have to fight to get it back, but you got to be ready for that fight. Real talk. Now we're going to leave tonight though with something a little bit more uplifting, right? We're going to try to leave it tonight with something uplifting, because there's a camp in Minnesota that is closing now. And this camp was was somewhere where terminally ill children used to go to not only like kind of have some fun, but also like, these were terminally ill kids, man. Some of them were living their last days. And so it's like make a wish, man. We want these kids to have beautiful memories before they pass on. This camp is closing. And the reason why this camp is closing is because we don't have as many sick kids, man. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. And so we get the story here. This comes out of the Star Tribune, the Minnesota Star Tribune. It says the closure of the northern Minnesota camp is the greatest story, and here's why. It says the ashes of 12-year-old Chris Edwards are buried on the grounds of the Pine County camp, where his mother insisted his memorial service be held after his HIV-related death in 1999. It's one of the reasons former campers are saddened by the news that the one Heartland in Willow River, Minnesota, about 40 minutes south of Duluth, is for sale. The 80-acre site is home to a camp that has served kids living with or affected by HIV/AIDS for more than 30 years. But the number of babies contracting the virus through their mothers has declined to the point where such a camp is no longer needs to exist. It's a heartbreaker, said Chris's brother Dylan Edwards, who attended the camp with Chris for years. But the purpose of the camp was for sick kids, he said, and if there are so few that a camp isn't feasible, it's hard to feel bad about that. In the United States, the prenatal HIV transmission rate, or the rate of a mother passing the virus on to a child through pregnancy, birth, or breastfeeding, is now less than 1% thanks to antiretroviral medications, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The World Health Organization says that globally, new HIV infections among children aged up to age 14 has declined by 38% since 2015, and AIDS-related deaths have fallen by 43%. As a Wisconsin college student, founder Neil Willinson read about a 5-year-old boy in the Milwaukee area living with HIV who faced isolationism and discrimination at his school. Willinson reached out to the family and got to know them, learning the virus's deep effects on each member. He founded the One Heartland in 1993 when he was 22, intending it to be a short project. Now he's 53. He often marvels at how quickly his college-age dreams of working in Hollywood as an actor and producer diverged into running a nonprofit. The impact has been so transformative. The first summer in 1993 the first summer in 1993 that during the week the children were already saying we can come back, Willinson said. They rented camps around the country for a few summers because the knowledge of the virus was still minimal at the time. At least one camp didn't want kids with HIV swimming in its pool. Edwards, who attended the camp its first year, One Heartland, was forced to go elsewhere the next year. Willinson bought the Willow River property from an Optimist club in 1997. Former Minnesota Twins player and manager Paul Molitor donated money for the purchase and was a spokesman for the camp for several years. We wanted to create a safe haven where children affected by the disease, perhaps for the first time in their young lives, could speak openly about it and be in an environment of unconditional love and acceptance, said Willinson, who is the president of the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Metro Milwaukee, as well as a public speaker and founder of other camps. He stepped away from One Heartland leadership in 2010. With referrals from the National Institutes of Health, children were flown to Minnesota from around the country at no cost to their families. Expenses were paid by the donors. Now, Sanderson said the boy who inspired the camp, now 38, he is a married pastor and doctoral student living in South Carolina. His mother, a nurse who died from the virus in 2010, had tried to provide AIDS education to parents and others concerned about Sanderson attending school. He recalled one student backing off and throwing his hands in the air when he got near him, and one friendship a boy kept secret from fearful parents. Sandine attended camp for several years and traveled the country with the nonprofit, speaking at schools. One Heartland was an outsized presence in his life, giving him a place to let go and be a kid, and to be among others feeling the same isolation, sorrow, and pain, he said. It fostered a community created amongst kids living radically different lives than most. I say this and I highlight this story because what it speaks to, and we can debate about pharmaceutical companies and corporate greed and stuff like that. But the reason why I highlight this story is because we are living in a time now where so many people are distrustful of institutions, are distrustful of doctors, are distrustful of the science. And I can remember over the course of my own lifetime where the diagnosis of having HIV was a death sentence. I am old enough to watch the announcement of Magic Johnson telling the world that he had HIV and it was going to force him to retire from the NBA. I am also old enough to remember when Magic Johnson attempted to play, when he did play in the NBA All-Star game. I want to say it was the 1992, or 1992 NBA All-Star game. Karl Malone having some misgivings about having to play against him because they were worried about being exposed to his blood and everything else. I remember when Magic Johnson came back in 1995 to attempt to play, and people still having some misgivings about it because of our understanding of what HIV was and how it was transmitted and everything else, and like not necessarily having the antiviral drugs that we have available to us today. And we're now living in a time where HIV isn't the death sentence that it was back in the late 80s, early 90s, early 80s, right? To the point where a camp that was set up for children who were dealing with this particular illness now has to close its doors because they don't have the clientele. That is a win for science. In a time where so many people are questioning science. So I highlight this story because I like going forward, man. People are free to believe whatever the fuck it is they want to believe, right? They can, like, especially after we've come out of the COVID pandemic and everything else, and people suddenly not believing in vaccinations and things of that nature. Despite the fact that we've eradicated many diseases because of vaccinations, and like what even like pisses me off even more is that we get vaccinations from Africa. The whole idea of vaccinations we get from Africa. And to see so many of my people reject vaccinations and medicine and things of that nature, it's a bit disheartening. But I think that, like, going forward, man, to highlight a story like this, where for those of us who have been around for a while, who saw what it meant to have been diagnosed with HIV, and to see that HIV no longer represents a death sentence. We could talk about whether or not, the medication should be available, at a more affordable rate. We could talk about that. That's a discussion that we damn sure need to be having. But also, the fact that we are at this point, as a matter of fact, there's another story, and I might bring that up the next time I talk to y'all, about the fact that there may even be a cure for HIV right now. The fact that we're at this point, many people didn't see us coming to this point. And so I felt like this was very good, I felt like this was a very good way to be thankful for, the time that we're living in scientifically, where a summer camp for children who are dealing with HIV and terminal illnesses has to close because they don't have the kids to service anymore. And that is worth celebrating. And with that, I'm going to get on up out of here. But before I get on up out of here, I'm going to remind you guys how to get in touch with your man Spann and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Go ahead and leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here and responded to here live on the show. You can also hit me up on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead and follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. And if you want to chop it up with me on Blue Sky, my name on there is Mr. Spann, no underscore, MRSPANN.bsky.social. Go ahead and hit me up there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, if you're watching us via YouTube and our Facebook, the Mr. Spann fan. Okay. On YouTube, it's the Spann Report on YouTube, okay? Subscribe to the Spann Report on YouTube. Every time I go live, you will get a notification. You will know when we're going live. You can watch those videos and everything else. So go ahead, subscribe to the channel over there and leave us those comments over there, and we will read your comments, and that will be a part of the listener feedback, okay? If you're watching me on Facebook, you can join the, you can like the Mr. Spann fan page over there on Facebook. You will get notified when I go live on Facebook as well. And you can comment on Facebook when we're doing the show, okay? So, yeah, on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. And on Facebook, like the Mr. Spann fan page. You will be updated when we go live, and you could be a part of the show, all right? Also, on Spotify and iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know while you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast. Damn, I said the Spann Report Podcast. The Mr. Spann Official Podcast. And the Mr. Spann Official Podcast specifically, right? We appreciate you guys who support us in that way. Also, man, if you want to give us some money, and we like the money, trust me, we like cash, man. When I say we like cash, I'm saying mega. We like cash. So if you like to know what's going on over here, go ahead and support us in our store, man. Go ahead and buy yourself some merch at our TeePublic store, tpublic.com/Spann Report Podcast Network. The link will be in the show notes. You can go there, buy yourself some merch, man. Buy yourself a t-shirt, buy yourself a hoodie, buy yourself a sweater, buy yourself a coffee mug, buy yourself a mouse pad. We got some stuff over there. Buy yourself a hat. We appreciate you guys who help us out in that way. And it goes a long way towards helping us continue to do what it is we do here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast in its entirety. Like I said, man, we may get on this mic again before the new year, man. We got about 3 days. I might talk to y'all again in about 3 days, but if I don't, I wish everyone a very happy new year, man. I hope 2025 brings you everything good that you have planned for your life. I hope that you are making plans to where 2025 can be conducive to you. I want everybody to drop the drama. I want everybody to drop the hate. I want everybody to live a forward and progressive and what's the word that I'm looking for here? I don't know what the fuck. I want y'all to have a good time in 2025. Despite what we got to look forward to in 2025, I want us to enjoy 2025 despite everything that we know is going to be happening in 2025. Real talk. So if I don't talk to y'all before 2025, I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all for riding with me, and I appreciate y'all for listening, and I will talk to you again soon. But until next time, fam.